In this video, I'm going to introduce a powerful text editor and a plugin that Fruition Partners and possibly some others have contributed toward in making your ServiceNow script development even that much richer and more convenient, especially with UI pages and other fields that do not have a built-in editor within the ServiceNow platform. SublimeText version 2 is a text editor that you can download, and it is not free, but it does have a free trial. This text editor does allow you to create and install plugins to the editor to enhance the features and functionality. So a few people at Fruition Partners and possibly others have contributed to a GitHub project that built a Sublime editor plugin that allows you to write code or HTML or JavaScript inside of the Sublime editor and save it, and when saving it, it actually saves it to a ServiceNow instance. So let's go into how to get that, how to install it, configure it, and how to use it in your system. So the first step to do is jump over to ServiceNow Share. Okay, once you get to Share, go ahead in the search bar and type Sublime. You'll get a search result for the SublimeText 2 plugin. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we are going to download that plugin. Alright, once that plugin is downloaded, it's going to download into an XML file. That XML file is actually an update set for your ServiceNow instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my ServiceNow instance, and let's retrieve the update set that we downloaded from Share. And there's our plugin. And we'll go ahead and upload that. Now that we've loaded it, let's go ahead and preview the update set. And it was successful, so let's commit. Now that it's complete, we can go back to our navigator and we can type Sublime, and you'll see that there is a link to a page that will download a zip file. So from clicking that, it's going to download a zip file. So if we were to look at that zip file, we would see that there's a Python file here and then an HTML file that gives us some instructions. So if you open that HTML file, you'll be able to read the instructions, but let me just show you what you need to do. Simply, you go into your Sublime editor and go to your preferences in the Sublime editor and choose Browse Packages. When you browse packages, you'll notice a lot of folders here. You're going to create your own folder and call it ServiceNow Build. And there's my folder. Then what you do is you go into that file that you was downloaded, that zip file, and you copy the Python file, and then you drag it and paste it into the ServiceNow Build folder that you created. So if I do that, I actually copied everything and threw it in here, but really all you need is the ServiceNow build.py. Alright, this is going to give Sublime a functionality that if you have a certain header in the file and click Save, it's going to attempt to save that to a ServiceNow instance. So let's see this in action. So we're going to go to back to our ServiceNow instance, and that update set did more than just create this link to the zip file. If we wanted to go to a UI page and create a UI page, let's create a new UI page and call this Demo 1. And really where I use Sublime is mostly in my UI pages for Jelly. The JavaScript editor works well enough for me. It works actually pretty well. So I stick with the JavaScript editor typically for like business rules and script includes, but UI pages and other things where we don't have an actual editor here and we're free-forming and you can't really tab, Sublime is beautiful. But Sublime does work for the other types of records as well. But we have our UI page here, so I'm going just to save a blank UI page and call it Demo 1. Now if I scroll down to the bottom of that page, we'll see that there's actually a related link, called Add Sublime File Headers. So if I click that, what it's going to do is in each of these fields that contain script or XML or HTML, it adds some comments at the top of those fields. And those comments are the triggers within Sublime to tell Sublime that it's going to save whatever is being saved in Sublime up to a ServiceNow instance. So let me explain these headers. First of all, I'm going to copy this that was generated, and let's jump over to Sublime again. And let's paste this into the Sublime editor. Let's discuss what these 3 lines are. The first line is the file URL. So this is the URL directly to that record that we're editing. That's and this is the UI page, and this is the sysid to that UI page. And then because a page can have multiple fields with data, you take the field name that you're saving that file content as. So in this case, I want to edit the HTML field, so that field name is going to be HTML. You can check by seeing what that field label, the value is for that field. So but if we were to go down to the client script, we could right click and we'd see that we'd need client_script, and that's actually what is generated automatically for you with that plugin. Processing script is processing script, so we check out the plugin, and it did processing script as well. So it does that for us automatically. The third line is the authentication line. What you do is you do your username, and then your password. And once you save that password, let's just say my cool password. Once you save this file, now it's going to bring up a file save dialog, and so we're actually going to save this to the hard drive. So we'll just call this demo1.xml. Since this is an XML field inside of ServiceNow, I'm going to give it an XML extension so that the editor knows to use the XML syntax. If I were editing a JavaScript field, I would do JS, and Sublime would know that it's going to do a JavaScript formatting. But we're doing XML, so I'll click XML, and notice we get the XML formatting automatically here. Notice what happened here. Our username :password just got changed to stored. This is for security, so that when it gets saved up into ServiceNow, or if people are watching you code, they don't see your credentials. Once you hit save, it stores your credentials in a cache local to your machine, and every time you save from here on out for this particular URL, it's going to pull from those credentials. So now if I were to type hello world and hit save, we could jump over into our ServiceNow instance and reload that page. And as you can see here, hello world is there. This is nice because I can more rapidly code and try my code. So if I click try it and just look at hello world, then I can jump into my editor and add a few exclamation points, hit save, come back and refresh this page and see my exclamation marks that were there. So yeah, the editor, it can save to just about any record in the system. It just uses this URL. As long as it has the correct field name and the correct credentials, you can actually modify a single field inside of any record in the system using the Sublime editor. I love this thing, and kudos to Fruition for going to the work of building this. This does support I believe at least Dublin, maybe earlier, but Dublin and beyond releases of ServiceNow, it supports the JSON Web Service plugin. So if you're using an older build of ServiceNow, you need to have the JSON Web Services plugin enabled for this to work. For the newer builds, it will also leverage JSON v2, which comes enabled by default on current instances. So it will try JSON first, and if it fails, it will automatically try JSON v2. Anyway, thanks again. This is a great little plugin. I love it, and I'm very excited about it, and I've been using it since I discovered it a few months ago.